Attention carriers, brokers, and dispatchers. You're tuned into the eCarrierCheck channel, where we bring you the insider tips, tricks, and insights to drive your sales and logistics business to new heights. Each week, your hosts, Jared and Nate, sit down with the top professionals in the industry, diving deep into everything from prospecting and cold calling to maintaining carrier relationships and maximizing your bottom line. Learn real-world strategies, hear success stories, and get actionable advice you can implement in your business today. So buckle up and get ready for an entertaining and informative ride. This is the eCarrierCheck channel, your source for can't-miss logistics intelligence. Stay tuned.
Hey, can you hear us now, Tire Killer?
I think
Let me know, brother. Let me know, brother. I think we're back.
Here's what I was saying, and you actually, thank God you missed it, because I dropped the F-bomb. But honestly, Christmas and New Year's in the middle of the week make trucking, brokering, logistics just so challenging. Let us know if you can hear us. We just want to make sure that we're not talking to ourselves. We do that often.
Do that, yeah.
Just in case it is working.
I think Tire Killer said we're good.
I think that's an okay sign. I don't know. Who knows? I have no idea. But honestly, I'm excited. I think this time of the year for me, you get to kind of slow down a little bit. Everybody's good. Okay, you get to slow down a little bit. You got to think about what worked in 2024. We got some incredible ideas for carriers going into 2025 that we're going to share today, and that we hope that we provide some value. I know you've been grinding on the phones a little bit here this last couple days. Give me a rundown of what you're hearing from people. Are they busy this week? Are they not? What seems to be working?
So to be honest, I've talked with many carriers last week, really, a few this week already. But they seem to be busy in the mind of and the fact of planning for next year.
Yeah.
So they're still busy, which I love to see. A few brokers that I've talked to, they're kind of laying back and adding things to their pipeline, sending emails. A lot of the brokers that I did talk to, tried making some calls. They haven't had any luck, so they're like, you know what, I'm gonna send some emails.
Yep.
I know it's really slow. People are probably on vacation, but that's kind of where I've seen, whether you're a carrier or broker, that's kind of where I've seen everything at.
Yeah.
But I love when people are planning ahead.
Yeah, me too. I also like when people are reflecting or thinking about what worked, what didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Chief Freight Hauler, what's up, brother? It's good to see you on. I think that, if you're a carrier right now, it's Wednesday, next week is Christmas, you're trying to either A, you're taking off the next couple weeks, or B, right now you're trying to figure out, all right, how do I get a load? Or if I do have a load, are the people open? Are they not? Are they celebrating on the front end of the week, or is it the back end of the week? There's some interesting stuff that happens this time of year.
It does,
that you have to kind of take into consideration.
And you had a lovely post the other day where it was like, if you're a carrier and maybe you're taking some time off, maybe you're just trying to take care of your maintenance, on your trucks and trailers. So there's always something to be done for your carrier. I feel like those guys are nonstop working
all the time.
But yeah, if you're just maybe waiting for the slow, holidays to get over with, I'm sure a lot of them are taking care of or just doing maintenance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Getting ahead with books.
And if you haven't yet, for you carriers that are watching today or anybody really, make sure that you do write a Christmas card and tell the people that made an impact on you, thank you. The Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah. I know that just started. It's definitely one of those things. Actually, it might be getting over, to be honest with you. It's the 18th. I think it's 8 crazy nights. I think it might be over. But it's one of those things that it's good to look back.
Yeah. Before we got on the live today, we talked about ways that carriers can be, maybe saving some money on their costs next year. Talk me through some of those great ideas you had before we came on the show.
Sure.
Because I loved them. There's one idea you had that I just truly loved. I'm trying to figure out how I can get some stuff done at the house. Gotcha. Yeah.
That's such an interesting. I love that he asked this right here. I'm trying to figure out how to get some stuff done around the house. At the end of the day, you have to put your time in where it's important, right? And in some particular cases, that's making money. Tire killer doesn't leave his truck. This is why he's killing tires, right? But are you making enough money where you can just hire it out? Or should you just stay home for the week and hammer out some stuff around the house? Yeah. Right? Now, if you're just talking laundry, that's hireable. But if you're talking like, I need to get a fence built or I need to redo the road, maybe that's hireable too. I think it's always interesting. I'm a big believer in finding people around me to help me. If I have to pay them or not, I just look at it and go, okay, if I would have spent my time on that, would I have done well? Let me give you some examples. I can't plumb. So every time I'm involved in a plumbing project, my ass is back at Home Depot 3 friggin' times during this project, and I'm about to lose my mind. You want a trigger for me? It's plumbing. Yeah. I can't do it. I'm not a handy guy, which sucks. I wish I was. I wish I was taller too, but I'm not. What do you do? So you just kind of go, okay, well, this is going to have to work. Now with the reason why I talk about I need to get some stuff done around the house is I think it's important as you go into 2025. At what point do you hire some things out? Right? Sometimes it's not about the money, it's the satisfaction of doing it yourself. It's great. Yeah. I totally agree.
I do too.
Totally agree. I completely agree with that. Tire killers, just sending blanks here. Maybe it'll pop in. Maybe it's just
emojis.
Is that an emoji? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it should come through, yeah.
That'll come through in a sec. But I think what you have to look at this next year is all of your costs and say, could I have hired somebody better? And if I look at it monthly or weekly or quarterly, I think that you have to make sure that, there's some pop-up costs. I'll give you an example. Tire Killer had a transmission this year. That was a big boy cost. It was something silly. Like it cost, remember, there was like 25, 30 grand or something crazy. Did he shop it around? Or did he just go to the shop that he liked? Right. Or did he go, okay, I need to figure out who else could do this? You know what I mean? Yep. Sometimes I think that's really important that you look and shop around some of your costs and shop around some of those things, right?
To add to that really quick, not to add to that, after this I will. But Tire Killer, did you just have a birthday? If you did, happy belated birthday, brother.
Hold on, it's his birthday.
I believe he just had a birthday a couple of days ago.
I love that.
But where does a carrier start? Are you pulling out like, all right, are you going through all your invoices? What did I spend this year? What happened mechanically that maybe I didn't plan for? How are carriers maybe getting to the bottom of this to help them, save costs in 2025? Like, what should they be doing?
What a great question. And, there's some tech out there for this, but some of it's just manually thinking through.
I'm a big manual guy, so that's why I like
so, that. Grab your checkbook and grab a bunch of bill of ladings that you ran this year. Grab them all. I'm sure you have a stack of bill of ladings and start sorting it by state. And ask yourself, did you go to those states on purpose or was it a reaction, right? And then when you start looking at your costs, start looking at, okay, breakdowns happen. but am I regularly in those areas where I could be going to different vendors in those areas and saying, hey, I'm in this area at least 20 times a month. I need to negotiate maybe a new tire price or a new shop price, or I need to negotiate even a truck wash for that matter. I know you guys keep your stuff clean, right? Tire Killer turns 60 on Sunday. You know what I say about 60? It's the new 25. You need to go blackout this weekend in a club. All right, maybe not.
Maybe not do that. Get some stuff around the house.
Just get your stuff covered around the house, gosh dang it.
Parking on the fuel aisle instead of paid parking is cost-saving idea. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, there's little things like that you can start to look at and go, okay, I'm always in Cincinnati. I need to get a better shop. I need to find a better vendor for tires. I need to find a better for fuel. I need to continue to whittle this down so that when I do have major accidents, major breakdowns, I can control at least or minimize the loss, right?
Yeah, and I think it might be smart too. Let's say if, how Tire Killer's transmission went out. If you've never had that happen, maybe it's time to understand how much does that cost if it does happen. And that way I can set money aside in case that does.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I've always loved about Tire Killer. He even said this on one of our shows. He said, I have a slush fund for accidents.
That's so good.
So important because trucks break down. Trucks, especially if you're up north. If you're in cold weather, they break down more, right? If you're south, like, our friend Chief Freight Hauler, then we've got some other, then he doesn't have to worry about that side of it, right? So I think it's really important. Start to look at your costs. Start to look at where you went. I know that when I was dispatching, I'll give you some examples of things. If my load canceled to start the week, it effed up everything. No different than my plumbing issue. I usually had, okay, I'm going from A to B. I've already got a load from C to D. I'm already in this. And if A cancels, then it dominoes the whole week and I'm playing chase the whole week. Or how do I not react and I start to diversify my supplier list? Yes, we just talked about your operational suppliers, right? Tires, the tire car, the truck washes, the anytime you do maintenance, things like that. We've got to diversify. 2025 is about diversifying our revenue sources.
Yeah.
If you looked at all those bill of ladings, they're all laying on the ground, right? If they're laying on the ground, which is how I love to do everything. They're all laying on the ground and you're looking at them and you go, how did I get the revenue from all of those? And you start putting them in a bucket, right? And if visually, all of a sudden, all your bill of ladings are in one bucket, we've got to think of other ways to diversify that, right? So if you're getting it from one customer, you're a one truck guy, hey, that's how it goes. Tire Killer's a big contract guy. Then it's another conversation of how does he negotiate a general rate increase so that he can go, hey, here's some of my costs. Don't just ask for 5%. Send over a reason. Here's my costs from 2024. Here's my costs from 2023. I saw an 8% increase in operational costs. Is there a way I can at least try to throw some funds at this? Don't just ask for this. Here's what I saw, right? And that could be, you could do that by lane if you're into that, right? If, for instance, Tire Killer's going to California, which I know he's not. I wouldn't. It's like another friggin' country. Right. But he can kind of go, okay, California rates and fuel went up this much. Is there a way that I can get a higher fuel rate when I go to California versus when I go to Cincinnati? Start to think about and be very, very pinpointed with laying out the bill of ladings and saying, okay, how do I get a little bit smarter in 2025 to not only diversify my suppliers, but diversifying my revenue spend? Or my revenue sources. Not spend, but revenue sources.
Right. Yeah, I like that. Are y'all going to Matt's this year? I don't believe we are. Chief Freight Hauler. That's something Jared and I will need to...
when is Matt's?
Yeah, when is it, though?
I've heard it's wild.
But yeah, we're not going to California.
Yeah, it'd be kind of fun to go to Matt's, actually, because there's so many carriers that we talk to that are all dealing with this same sort of thing. I saw another company in Missouri file bankruptcy yesterday, Chapter 11, right? And they've got to go in and start to work through some of their financial things.
Right.
If you don't have a good accountant that's not helping you with, okay, hey, the bank rates are at this now. We should probably wrap up all these costs, throw them in a new, loan, try to lower your loan payments, try to lower those daily running mile costs, right? So a good accountant, again, I just said I like to hire it out. There's your first one, right? If you don't feel comfortable or confident in how your sales process is, then get better brokers because they're good salespeople. But find the brokers that are good. They pay well. They have good credit. They're cool to work with because you don't want to deal with dickheads every day. I hate working with assholes.
Yeah.
There's no other way of putting it. I don't want to call Jim because Jim's not nice to work with.
Right.
But Jim has the load I need. Okay, well, let's see if there's other brokers that have it.
Right. Walk me through a conversation. We talked about before the show how carriers, they have a lot of work to do. They got a lot on their plate, man.
Tons.
So there's not a whole lot of time for them to just, okay, here's my sales pipeline. I'm going to make some cold calls. You talked about calling brokers.
Yeah.
Talking through a conversation. If I'm a carrier that is just trying to grow my relationship portfolio with brokers.
Yeah. So
what do I need to be doing?
So here's how we used to do it in Nebraska Transport in the truckload division. Okay. We ran a triangle. We knew where we were going to be pretty much weekly. It was always going to start in western Nebraska, and we're going to go to Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho. And we had suppliers all diversified through there for tires, maintenance, towing, all those things, right? Those were already set up. But we also had local brokers in all of those locations, and we had direct shippers in all those locations. Now, this didn't happen overnight. We didn't ship this network out. This took years of not necessarily grinding, but intentionality. This took years of being intentional with, okay, I'm going to make 4 phone calls today. I'm going to find 4 brokers that want to work with me. Mm-hmm. Maybe 2 of them they don't answer their phones, or they're not active, or they don't have freight that would work for your mix, right? You guys driving always have a needle in a haystack when calling to brokers, but you may as well start in being intentional. I love this quote. I saw this earlier. It said, a lot of people say go big or go home. And really, I think it's just start simple and show up. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think is really important. So what we would do, we had just a cadence. If we broke down, okay, who do we know that's a tow truck within 50 miles? If we needed tires, who do we know that's selling tires within 50 miles? And we knew that in our network, okay? We also had that same situation with how we found our revenue. We had direct shippers. If they didn't have anything, we had direct brokers. And I call them direct brokers because it's not load boards, okay? Load boards are one thing, right? Everyone can get a load from TQL. God bless her soul. I actually find TQL very entertaining.
Yeah.
The founders of that company are kind of doing some cool stuff. So those were the things that we looked at all the time as a carrier and said, how do we better our processes? But guess what? If you don't have time to make those sales calls, like you just said, or to find your own loads, this is where dispatchers are coming into play. Mm-hmm. This is why there's hundreds, if not thousands, of dispatchers that are out there. Now, some of them, there's no value add. How do you push your dispatcher this year to bring some value? Yeah. Not just find you loads off load boards. Yeah. How do they commit to getting you 2 or 3 other brokers in those areas that you're running all the time? That's what you got to push. You got to push your accountant to friggin' make sure that there's a black number at the end of the year instead of red. Right. Although some years red's not bad.
That's fair. Yeah.
So those are the things.
Yeah, I love that. Tire Killer has this core area. Like you said, this type of stuff doesn't happen overnight. So he goes to Chicago, KC, Tulsa, Montgomery, Nashville. I love that he has this core area.
He does have a core area.
I'm sure, like what you said, he just started simple and showed up. Yeah. And then over time, he's like, "Hey, this is my niche. I love going to these places. I can handle it." What's up, Michael? Good morning.
Michael, what's going on, man? Long time no see.
What would harsh sales sound like on the phone? Can you give us some examples of niche markets to call?
Yeah, we can talk about some niche markets for sure. I'm a big fan that Tire Killer has his area. Mm-hmm. Here's the other thing that I like about it. He drives an 80-foot friggin' truck. because he knows his niche area, he's able to drive around a little bit better. You know what I mean? He's able to think through and go, oh, I need to get off on exit 55 because it's easier to swing around the backside of this place than actually go over here. When you start going to new cities and there's new construction and there's all that, God bless it, that's stressful.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's a part of driving, right? That's a part of driving. That's the way it is. But boy, when you know these markets like you do, wonderful.
Yeah.
And these are good markets too, by the way.
I love
Great
that.
markets.
You know, Michael, as far as when you're burnt out, bro, you just have to think of different ways. You know, if you're tired of cold calling, send some emails. Get on LinkedIn, send some video calls or maybe some, direct messages. Don't copy and paste. Make it worth their time to open and read, add some value. But there's other things that you could be doing if you're just burnt out cold calling, for sure.
Yeah. I also don't know, for me, I've never really had a lot of success with hard selling. I don't think shipping managers even want really a hard sell. Have you ever been sort of manipulated in a way when it comes to selling? Whether it's the guy that dumps dirt on your floor and tries to sell you a vacuum, there's some interesting tactics in car sales and things like that. It doesn't really set well with me, so I can't say that I have really good advice for a hard sale. Now, I do think that there's an importance in having confidence in your sale.
Yep.
And so that's something that we could talk further about. I haven't been here live because I'm calling my ass off here. I'm still watching all the videos on replay.
I appreciate that.
It's good to see you, brother. I'm glad you're on. Keep grinding. And if it's not working, then we got to take a step back. We talked to a gal the other day, making 50, 60 calls a day, and it's like, okay, what is it that she's not saying, or where are those inconvenient, kind of weird bloops that are in that area? So
yeah, I think there's something to be said about just having confidence on the phone.
Yeah.
If you don't know the answer, you don't have to say, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you kind of thing. Always try to handle every call with confidence. Michael, record yourself, man. Record yourself calling all day.
Yeah, I agree.
And then listen to it over. And then you'll probably pick up on some things like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't have said this, or maybe I had too many ums or uhs or whatever it may be. So just record yourself.
Yeah, even send us a recording of your calling. We'd sure be happy to listen to it.
And if you're a carrier watching today, which I hope you are, if you're trying to diversify your business, maybe get some more broker relationships, email us. We'll send you some brokers to call.
Yeah.
We don't care. We want to help you guys grow. Or if you just want to meet with us, we love meeting with people.
We do. Big fan of
hearing more about your business, your carrier business, and how can we, just grow the company, right? So we all want to grow together.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's probably more unique in eCarrierCheck's world is we can help you supply you with broker lists. We can get you their emails, their phone numbers. We can get you to that water. You just have to pick up the phone.
Yep.
You still have to send that email. You still have to go about that. Calling in today's market as a carrier is challenging. And it's challenging if you're a broker. But if you're not selling for, an hour to 3 hours a day, the brokers have a little bit of an upper edge because that's what they're doing all day.
Right.
You got Michael here, right? He's calling all day, right? When drivers are in seats, he's on the phone.
Yep.
So
there's something to be said about just picking up the phone. Whether if you're tired of, Michael, if you're tired of cold calling, maybe you start calling carriers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just start learning a little bit more about what they do, how they do it, and maybe there's some way you guys can kind of collaborate. So there's another thing you could do if you're just burnt out making cold calls.
Yeah.
Jared, you love to call carriers.
I love calling carriers. I actually get more education from them than you think. What I look for is local kind of nuances. I look for equipment-specific issues that they've been dealing with, and that's what I really pick up on. And then I'm able to relay that in my sales approach when I'm talking to shippers.
Right.
So
I like that. So. Who has worse weather, Nebraska or us in Minnesota? It's fishy.
You.
We haven't had any snow. So
yeah, it's definitely you. You guys have gotten a couple different mambas, and the other day I woke up and I think Minnesota was like -4 or something stupid. I was
definitely.
I'm like, holy cow, we're supposed to get to 50 today. I love that.
I want to, by this time last year we had some snow.
We had already had a couple snowstorms. Yeah,
it was -20. It felt like, but I don't know.
Just some thoughts.
Yeah, that's entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. As far as carriers, though, I think this is the year where you've got to make sure you're pushing the envelope with all of your partners, and you've got to look for partners that are going to show you value.
Yeah.
So maybe, just maybe, you hire somebody to build your fence.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Unless you like to. But there's some benefits of hiring out things around you. And I know you're stubborn. I get it. You're 60. Remember, 60 is a new 25. Tire killer. But making sure that you're finding some of those people. This is why I think coaches are a unique industry, so that you can go, God, I just need a little bit of help.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all it takes. Just a little bit of help. A little bit of outside perspective to go, oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, we've also hooked up, brokers and carriers with each other as far as like,
Absolutely.
if I had a carrier that's, is trying to tackle this challenge, and I know another carrier tackled already, it's like, hey, you need to talk to, carrier A here because he's a vet, he's been through this, maybe give you some feedback. So, if you're a carrier, maybe it wouldn't hurt to call some other carriers and just maybe, pick their brain.
Absolutely.
You'll find some good people out there in this industry that are willing to help you and give you some good feedback or tips. I promise you. There's good people in this industry.
There's definitely a story and an emotion to every bill of lading, every freight bill, every tow truck bill, all of those things. You just need to go back and reevaluate it and start looking at it and going, okay, what could I have done different? Could I have made a better situation? Who do I work with? Could I have made that a better situation? Did I get paid on time? How did I do that? Who are my partners with fuel, gas, not fuel and gas, but fuel, tires, all those things, insurance. You've got to be pushing your vendors this year to make sure that it's best for you. Yeah. This is too hard of an industry to not be pushing those people.
Right.
So
Jared, I can't thank you enough for just your experience and your expertise and the feedback you give everyone, man. For those of you that don't know, Jared used to work for a carrier. Yeah. So that he holds the carriers close to his heart.
Love carriers.
But first off, I do want to thank for everyone that shows up every week.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had a recap of our 2024 year of being on YouTube, and we've had a lot of good, just crazy numbers, right? We had weird amount of comments and shares and followers and subscribers. So we can't thank you guys enough for tuning in each week and watching our videos. We are running a special for 1 month free for eCarrierCheck. So if you're interested in that, make sure you hit us up. And we'd love to hit up, maybe network with you guys and hear more about your business. What's up, Cody? Happy holidays, guys. Great episode as always. Yeah, go check out Cody's podcast as well.
This guy's good.
Yeah.
He's really good.
I love it. Jared, end us or send us off, man. Anything you'd like to close out the show?
Yeah, I think this year, 2025, is about making sure that you're pushing the relationships and partners you have to grow with you.
Yeah.
And we just need to become the best version of ourselves, the best version of our company, and just hold ourselves more accountable this year. I know it's easier said than done. We just have to show up to the gym and open that door. Yeah. We have to show up and know what we're eating, what we're putting in our body, what we're listening to, what we're doing with all of our bills. Don't just go through the motions this year. It's too hard of an industry to do that. I'm excited for this year. 2025 should be a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, thank you, Jared. Yeah, Tire Killer, I appreciate you, brother. You've been a big supporter for us. We appreciate you and everyone that tunes in. So you guys, we'll see you Friday, and have a good rest of your day.